Janice sits across from her brother in a dark, dim-lit room by the window. She looks up at him as she wipes away tears, and he looks on, silent as he's always been throughout their entire childhood into adulthood. "I don't know why you come now, Frank. You could have came on birthdays, anniversaries, Mom and Dad's funeral. Where were you? Off doing your own thing as always. I had to take care of everything while you just..." Wiping away her tears while her brother looks away unbothered. "I have 2 kids now. They're really beautiful. Yeah, you were an uncle and didn't even know it. I really wish you could have got to know them. My son reminds me a lot of you, though. He's there for his sister, but still has that kind of smart-ass attitude." Frank looks down and smirks as Janice lights a cigarette and leans back in her chair and lets her next set of tears fall down her face while looking at her brother. "It hasn't been easy lately, but I try. I'm divorced and raising these kids on my own. I'd ask you to help, but I already know what the answer would be, knowing you. That part of you, anyway. You would have liked them, and I'm sure they would have liked to know their uncle." Frank smirks, nodding his head as he looks out the window, seeing the sun just about to rise. "Frank, I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't try hard enough, but maybe it wasn't me. And I'm just accepting all the blame, just to save yourself from even owning up to your own life's choices. Poor life choices." Frank leans forward, crossing his fingers into one another while looking at Janice. "I can't do this every time, Frank. One day, this has got to stop, and you know that. I don't see why you just don't come back. This is harder on me than it is on you, Frank. I do my best, but maybe it's me who should be letting you go." Frank smiles, a real smile, and nods his head while leaning back in his own chair as he watches Janice stand up and extends her hand at Frank while sobbing. "I can't come back anymore, Frank, 'cause I'm letting go. You understand, right? I have to move on, and so do you." Janice slowly begins to walk towards the charred black door frame and looks back at her brother sitting in the burned chair. "Go home, Frank. We'll see each other again. I promise. Take care." Watching Frank stand up and walk towards the window as the sun begins to rise and the beams of light shine through his translucent body, Frank looks back at his sister one last time as Janice wipes away the last of her tears and watches her brother fade one last time. "Goodbye, Frank." Janice slowly closes the door before peering one last time into the room where her brother died in a deliberate house fire he had set 10 years ago. She wonders still as to why he did what he did. Doesn't know the reason or if it was an accident. All Janice knows is that Frank is now at rest after all the years she would come to visit him on his death anniversary and talk to his spirit in the very same spot. She let him go and freed herself from her guilt that was never hers in the first place. The end.